You were given a promise early in life. Work hard, stay focused, make the right choices, and you'll move up. You'll build a better life. You'll earn your place. That promise feels fair. It gives you a sense of control. It makes the world seem predictable. But the truth is much harsher than that. Social mobility is not a straight path. It's not just about discipline or intelligence. It's shaped by forces most people never see, and those forces quietly decide who moves forward and who stays stuck. Let's start with something simple but uncomfortable. Where you start matters more than you think, not just financially, but psychologically, socially, and culturally. Some people grow up in environments where success is normal. They see it up close. They understand how people talk, how decisions are made, how opportunities appear. They don't have to guess what success looks like. They've been surrounded by it. Others grow up in environments where survival is the priority. Stability is uncertain. Resources are limited. The focus is on getting through the day, not planning 10 years ahead. These two starting points create two completely different ways of thinking. One group learns how to build. The other learns how to survive. And here's the key difference. Builders think in terms of leverage. Survivors think in terms of safety. That difference shapes every decision that follows. Now consider this. You've probably heard that successful people think differently. That's true, but not in the way it's usually explained. It's not just about mindset. It's about exposure. If you've never been exposed to certain paths, you won't even consider them as options. You can't aim for something you don't know exists. And that's one of the biggest invisible barriers. Information is not evenly distributed. There are people who understand how systems work early in life. They know how to navigate education, careers, and investments. They know which skills matter and which ones don't. And then there are people who have to figure everything out from scratch, often through trial and error, often after making costly mistakes. By the time they learn the rules, others are already playing at a higher level. Now let's talk about effort. Effort is important, but effort without direction is just exhaustion. You can work endlessly and still not move forward if your effort is not aligned with how the system rewards progress. This is where many people get stuck. They believe that if they just push harder, something will change. But the system doesn't reward effort equally. It rewards visible, valuable, and strategic effort. If no one sees your work, it doesn't create opportunities. If your work doesn't align with demand, it doesn't create leverage. And if you don't understand how value is perceived, your effort gets ignored. That's not fair, but it's real. Now let's go deeper into something even more powerful. Networks, not networking in the formal sense. Not exchanging business cards or adding people online. Real networks. The kind where people trust you, vouch for you, and think of you when opportunities appear. This is where social mobility accelerates or stalls. Because opportunities don't flow evenly. They flow through people. And people tend to help those who are familiar, similar, or already within their circle. If you're outside that circle, you're not just missing opportunities. You're invisible to them. That invisibility is one of the biggest obstacles. You can be capable, talented, and hardworking, but if you're not connected to the right environments, your progress slows down. Now here's something most people misunderstand. It's not about knowing powerful people. It's about being in environments where those people exist. Because proximity creates familiarity, and familiarity creates trust. Without proximity, you're always an outsider trying to break in. With proximity, you become part of the system. And that changes everything. Now let's talk about risk again, but from a deeper perspective. Risk is not just about money. It's about consequences. When people say take risks, they're assuming that failure is manageable. But failure is not equal for everyone. For some, failure is a lesson. For others, failure is a setback that takes years to recover from. So they avoid risk, not because they lack courage, but because they understand the cost of being wrong. This creates a pattern. Those who can afford to fail take more risks. Those who can't afford to fail play it safe. Over time, the gap grows, because growth often comes from taking calculated risks, and those who take more of them have more chances to succeed. Now let's address something even more subtle: confidence. Confidence is often treated as a personality trait, something you either have or don't have. But in reality, confidence is built through experience. If your environment consistently reinforces your value, confidence becomes natural. If your environment constantly challenges your worth, confidence becomes difficult. This matters because confidence affects how others perceive you. People respond to certainty. They trust it, they reward it. So even if two people have the same ability, the one who appears more confident often gets more opportunities. Not because they are better, but because they are perceived differently. And perception drives decisions. Now let's talk about culture. Every social level has its own unspoken rules. How to communicate, how to present ideas, how to behave in certain situations. If you don't understand these rules, you can easily be misunderstood. You might be seen as unprepared, unpolished, or not a good fit, even if your ability is strong. This is why some people feel like they don't belong when they enter new environments. It's not just about skill, it's about alignment. And learning these rules takes time, observation, and exposure. Now here's another uncomfortable truth. The system is not designed to be fair. It's designed to maintain itself. That means advantages tend to stay within the same groups. Opportunities circulate among people who are already connected. Resources flow toward those who already have access. Breaking into that system is possible, but it requires more than just effort. It requires awareness, because once you understand how the system works, you stop making random moves. You become intentional. You start asking different questions. Not just how do I work harder, but where should I position myself? Who should I learn from? What environments increase my visibility? You stop relying on hope and start focusing on strategy. Now let's be clear. This is not about becoming cynical. It's about becoming realistic. Because when you understand the real dynamics, you stop blaming yourself for things that were never fully under your control. And you also stop wasting energy on ineffective approaches. You begin to see patterns. You notice how opportunities actually appear. You understand why some people move faster. And most importantly, you gain clarity. Clarity doesn't guarantee success, but it gives you a better chance. Because you're no longer playing blindly. You're adapting. You're positioning. You're learning the rules that were never explained. And that changes how you move. Now here's the final point. Social mobility is not just about reaching a higher income. It's about navigating a completely different world. A world with different expectations, different norms, and different pressures. Even when you move up, the transition is not instant. There's a period where you feel out of place, where you question yourself, where you feel like you don't fully belong. That's part of the process, because moving between levels is not just external, it's internal. You're not just changing your circumstances, you're changing how you think, how you act, and how you see the world. And that takes time. So if you've ever felt stuck, behind, or confused about why progress feels harder than it should, understand this. It's not just about effort, it's about understanding the system you're operating in. Once you see it clearly, you stop moving randomly. You start moving with intention, and that's when things begin to shift. If this gave you a new perspective, subscribe to the channel for more insights that challenge what most people believe about success and reality.